Persona 5 X might be one of the best gacha games I've ever played. It's basically a full-blown Persona game, just like Persona 5 with the story, the characters, and the combat, except it's got gacha mechanics, which basically means you spend money to get stuff in the game. I know this sounds bad, but I want you to stay with me in this video so I can tell you how the game actually plays, and maybe you can even give it a try, or maybe try it again if you played it and then dropped it. Now this game has been out overseas for a little over a year, I believe, and we just got it in the US, and I've been loving it. Look, this is a Chinese developed game, even though Atlus does have a good amount of say in the writing and the story and whatnot. The gameplay itself is developed by a Chinese company. Can you tell? Well, we'll get to that soon. First, let's talk about the gacha. So yes, this game is designed for you to spend money to unlock new characters. Technically speaking though, you can get through this game perfectly fine, completely free to play. That's how I'm playing it, but realistically, you're probably gonna have a little bit of an urge to pull for some stronger characters. The good news is that Persona 5 gives a lot of the summon currency for free. This has been a completely free to play run for me, and I have almost all of the characters. And yeah, most gacha games are pretty generous at launch, so we'll see how that holds up, but I can tell that this is a pretty generous game. You have a lot of ways to get the summon currencies. And for those of you who have never played a gacha game before, usually there are these banners with a bunch of different characters on them, and then there's like one featured unit that you're really trying to get. This is a pretty common system in almost every gacha game. You can summon a bunch of times, and then eventually you'll have a chance, or a higher chance, at getting the character you want. Now, unless you're really unlucky, you're probably going to be able to get these characters. It just might take a little bit of time. Do remember that just because a character comes out the first time, it does come back in rotation on other banners. Alright, so let's talk about the gameplay. So this game captures exactly what Persona 5 fans loved about the game. Character development, turn-based combat, dungeon crawling, pretty simple. The structure is almost identical to Persona 5 because palaces are back, Mementos is back, except there's actually no time limits here. There is not a proper calendar that you have to adhere to, and you're free to explore at your own pace, which I love, actually. That is a really underrated feature about this game, which I don't think people talk about enough. You can actually take your time with this game and miss nothing. So you don't need to min-max your days like in the original Persona 5, which I know people like to do, but to be honest, that's one of the parts of Persona 5 that did stress me out a little bit. It's kind of like how my least favorite Zelda game is Majora's Mask because of the time constraint element. I don't really like games that do that to you. Now, within these palaces and dungeons, you'll hit level gates. So what I mean by that is you can progress through them, but there's certain points where you do have to be strong enough or get to a certain level, which can slow you down, but it's fine. There's plenty of stuff to do and other tasks and battles and game modes to participate in. Palaces are not the only thing. There's Mementos, there's a bunch of stuff within the Velvet Room, which is back, of course, and Personas, battles and challenges you can do to get XP, get new items to level up your characters and people, and yeah, lots of things to do. But let's talk about the actual battles. I know this is an important part of Persona 5, and I'm very mixed about it. I feel pretty rough when I play these battles because it's kind of clunky. The gameplay itself is handled by not Atlus, it's handled by a Chinese company, and you can feel the gameplay difference is like pretty noticeable. I mean, even just moving around in the overworld is different, and then in battle, it's a little laggy. It's a little low quality than what I would expect. It's not something that you can't get used to. I got used to it pretty fast, but like it's a little jarring, especially if you just came back from playing the original Persona 5, which is so polished. Obviously, it's a free game, so I don't expect the same exact polish, but it's whatever. I'm just saying it's noticeably a little bit worse. Another issue, a big issue actually, when you're in Mementos and in palaces, random encounter battles, like just with creatures and shadows in the hallways, yeah, those are very, very useless. Unlike the original games, you're not getting incentives to fight much, you're not getting much EXP. Most of the time you're getting 0 EXP, actually, and the stuff you do get is pretty basic resources that you probably have plenty of anyway. So normal battles with shadows just feel very, very useless, which I don't like. But I mean, whatever, I guess. Just avoid them and run past the enemies. Now for the dungeon design. I don't want to say so much, so I'm not spoiling everything, but the dungeon design is very solid. Very solid. It's on par with the original Persona 5, in my opinion. I think that while it does seem a little basic, the theming is really strong, and you do get a lot of different areas within the dungeon. Well, I'll only talk about the first palace, so I don't spoil too much, but the first palace is baseball themed, and there's a lot of different references to baseball. It's very cool. It reminds me of an original Persona 5 palace for sure. And another cool feature, I don't know if you would count this as a spoiler, I don't think it's a spoiler, but when you beat a palace, unlike Persona 5, they don't disappear. They actually are built to be replayed when you're stronger and come back and clear it out 100%. You get more rewards, and I really like that actually. I like that you can go back to palaces. All right, now let's talk music. Wow, I am actually kind of shocked. I'm not gonna lie, the music in this game is really, really good. Like some of the battle musics I think are better than the original Persona 5. I'm just saying. I mean, really, just go listen to the tracks in this game. It's surprisingly good. And like, I don't even think Shoji Meguro is working on the soundtrack for this game, or I really don't think he had much of a part, which is kind of crazy because, I mean, you could tell the music is different, but it's so good that I'm okay with it. And yeah, I mean, Lynn is back for the vocal tracks. Always great. She has an amazing voice. I can only show you, or I guess have you listen to some of the music as the background music for this video, but you should really get in the game and actually listen because it's just phenomenal. I was shocked to see how good the music was for a free game. But to be fair, I think if the music was bad, people would have been a little upset because it's Persona. So the bar is pretty high. And obviously you have a bunch of the tracks coming back from the original Persona 5, but I think that kind of goes without saying. Okay, the characters. Now this section might be a little longer because obviously there's a lot to talk about here. Without spoiling too much, there's a similar concept where you have your friends, you know, in the real world, then you go and become phantom thieves in the metaverse. Now, what is different about this game is that most of your party members are not actually real, or at least the version you're using isn't real, because they're cognitions of people. It's kind of funny how they explain it, but like anyone who you've seen, or the main character, Wonder, is his code name by the way, anyone who he's seen, they can become a party member because of his vision of them. It's a little weird, but you know what? That's cool because you get a lot of funny characters and, you know, it's cool. I think the cast here, the main cast, is solid. I do like their characters. I mean, it's very Persona-esque, nothing we haven't really seen before. And I think they're pretty much on par with some of the Persona 5 characters. I would say that Persona 5 did struggle a little bit with developing and pacing their character arcs, but yeah, this game, pretty good. There are some issues where some of the scenes just feel a little rushed. Like, the Persona awakening for the main character is pretty much just like nothing. So the main antagonist, which is what I want to talk about for the first palace. I don't know if you've seen him by now, but his name is the Subway Slammer. Yeah, the Subway Slammer. Look, a lot of people kind of clown on this character because a lot of the Persona 5 villains were like actually horrible people. But hey, man, I would say actually go in the game and look at what this guy does, because he's kind of a menace. Like, he is evil, bro. I don't know. Sure, he's not like a freak like Kamoshida or any of the other people in the game, but he's still pretty evil. So, yeah. But regardless, main characters, you got Wonder, who's your typical silent Persona lead character. Then you got a cute animal sidekick. Yeah, I think he's better than Morgana. Morgana was kind of annoying, but this guy is pretty cool. And then another tomboy like a girl, kind of like Chie from Persona 4. And then, yeah, that's your big three for the first palace. And honestly, good cast. I mean, this girl is like, she plays sports, and then you fight a guy who she knew once, and then, yeah, they have a whole story arc. It was cool. Baseball themed. Not a bad storyline, in my opinion. Okay, so I should also say there are social links. So there are plenty characters in this game, and some of them, they don't have social links, but they kind of act like it, like they'll text your phone or whatever. Social links in this game are good. They have decent writing. They give you rewards. Very on par with Persona 5. Nothing much to say about it really though. I mean, you could give them gifts like it too. It's very similar. I will say there are some characters that I feel like should have social links and they just don't. I don't know why. But whatever, maybe they'll get added in a patch in the future. But these little mini storylines are really cool, and you could just kind of breeze through them. Little plots that you can take in and go through when you're trying to take a break from all the battles. They also brought back things like the Thieves' Den from Royal. If you remember that, it's essentially the same thing. I think it's pretty cool. The music's very good as usual. Yep, that's pretty much it. It does have a couple different UI changes and some new features, but fundamentally it's the same. You'll probably notice in the metaverse this like cute saleswoman. Yeah, I mean realistically, she's just there to try to sell you stuff, like actual money stuff. So don't be fooled. Don't be fooled, guys. I haven't caved in yet. I haven't bought anything. I probably will eventually, but look, don't be fooled. That's all I gotta say. All right, so here's my total opinion of Persona 5X. Should you play it? Okay, look, it's a slightly watered down Persona 5, in my opinion, but that's not really that fair to say because it's kind of doing its own thing within the gacha space. The first antagonist might not be as compelling as the original villains, but you know, it's a free mobile game. Well, it's also on PC too. I play it on PC. And you know, for what it is, it delivers. I think it's a really fun experience. If you're a Persona fan who is hesitant because it's a gacha game, don't worry about it. I would say this scratches the Persona itch better than a lot of different things. You can play and enjoy it without spending any money at all. And there are some daily limits on how much you can grind. I mean, there are different activities you can do during the day that require stamina. And yeah, whatever, who cares? That's every gacha game. You actually do get a lot, and they're giving away a lot of free stuff that lets you replenish it. There's also, in the battle systems, there is a stamina thing where you can only earn a certain amount of rewards and XP. I mean, it's expected. Is it annoying? A little bit, but it's designed to be a play a little bit every day kind of game. You could play like an hour and have a fun time, an hour or two, and then get off, and then play the next day. The pacing works really well for that. And you know, the writing has its moments, the presentation of the game is strong, and if you're like me, someone who enjoys gacha games, I mean, you're gonna love this game then, because it's Persona and gacha, and you know, it's the best of both worlds. So yeah, overall, if you like Persona, you like gacha, either or, you're probably gonna like this game, because it does a good job at being both a good Persona game and a good gacha game. So yes, go pick up this game, it's absolutely free. Get it on Steam. You can get it on your phone as well. And yeah, you should have a fun time. So yeah, please leave a comment if you actually do go ahead and play the game. I want to hear what you have to say. If you didn't like the game and you have, let me know why. You know, maybe I can help you kind of understand it, or I can understand why you don't like it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.